Hello, hello, hello. This is G. You are watching All Astrology. We're going to talk about your October. This is a big, big month, okay? There's an eclipse this month, and it's happening in your sign. Yes. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what the eclipse means in general. We're also going to talk about the sign of Scorpio, okay? We're going to talk about the Mars energy, right? For the next 7 months, Mars is going to be taking action in your life. Where in your life is it going to be taking action? What is it going to have to do with? Who is going to be involved? Let's take a deep dive. We won't talk about it with the chart, but we're going to do it the way I do it, old school, astrologically. But here's a bonus. After I talk about the Scorpio, I'm going to pull a card for you, and we're going to look at the card so you have a nice visual, just to give you a clarifier, to give you a little bit more detail, to give you a nice visual, right? It helps. And then after I talk about the Mars energy, same thing. Going to pull a card for you for a clarifier. All right. Right. So let's kick it off. Scorpio, we are having a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, and it happens at 2 degrees. If you know a little bit about astrology, if you're following along at home and you've got your own chart, you can look up the 2-degree Scorpio energy. You can find Scorpio and go to the degree number 2 and see if you have a planet there. See if you have anything there, a house cusp line, right? You just want to pay attention to the degree to find it. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's absolutely fine. Hold up, stick with me here, give me a shot. All right. I'm going to just keep on talking about it, and you don't have to know anything, right? There might be a few words you hear me spit out and be like, hey, I don't know what that means, but I explain the words that I spit out. And if there's ever anything you don't understand, just ask. There's never a question that's too small. There is not. It's astrology. It's vast as hell, right? And it's easy to get lost really fast. So don't be concerned about, okay, I don't know enough to ask a question, right? So whatever pops in your mind, just put a comment down below. And we'll go from there. Okay. So we got to break down this new moon eclipse, right? It's a solar eclipse. So when I say new moon solar eclipse, it just means it's the sun and the moon together. And when the sun and the moon are together, it is a moment of creation. Yeah. The moon is female energy. The sun is male energy. So we should really say masculine and feminine energy, right? More accurately, masculine and feminine energy. Does it have to be males and females in your life coming together? It doesn't have to be. Can it be? Absolutely, it can be. Because we're talking about the sign of Scorpio, right? Yeah. Scorpio is a physical sign. It bonds with others. It can energetically bond. It can intimately energetically bond through emotions. Okay. And sometimes that's through physical contact, right? Intimacy, physical intimacy. But it doesn't have to be just physical intimacy, okay? The beautiful thing about Scorpio energy is it can bond with people based on shared values, based on experiences. Like we have these same values, so we're involved in, we have some of the same beliefs, right? And so we're involved in some of the same activities or projects or sports, or we have the same likes, right? We have some of the same shared values. That's Scorpio energy, okay? It's intense, it's powerful, it's deep. Scorpio. These are all Scorpio words, okay? You think of the planet Mars, right? It's physical. It's going to take action. It has to do with my body. It's Mars. Now, because it's deep and it's emotional, and Pluto is involved also because Pluto is a co-ruler of Scorpio. I'm going to give you the keywords. Just relax. Scorpio and Pluto being its ruler, it's like it's the past. It's stuff that's so deep, so buried, so from so long ago. It's like your soul's history. Pluto energy, your soul's history. So how the hell do you know your soul's history? You don't. You don't. It's not a conscious thing. It's something you feel. You know how when they say, okay, trust your gut, trust that feeling, right? It's intense. It's powerful. It runs deep. It's the past. I know I'm doing some repetition here, but that helps the learning process. Now, this happens in your first house. This is a reading for Scorpios, right? And I'm specifically, the way I do the readings, because it's about timing of events, it's your rising sign, Scorpio rising, Scorpio ascendants, right? So if you're a Scorpio birthday, then this will have to do with your sun sign, because that's what a birthday is. It's our sun sign. All right. Sun sign is your birthday. So physical body, Mars, Scorpio, physical body. So my appearance, who I am, what do I do with my body? Am I active with my body? What shared physical bonds do I have with others about my body? So maybe it's not just about your body, but the actions you take with your body. Scorpio is a fighter, right? Because it's got Mars as one of its rulers. Mars likes to carry weapons. Mars is a soldier, right? Yeah. And then it's also got Pluto, which is super powerful. It's soul's power, soul's energy. So that's why the sign of Scorpio is known to be like that Phoenix rising energy. It's like you shoot them, you stab them, it's kind of like they just don't die. I'm dealing with the Omicron crap, so bear with me. The Scorpio energy is like deep emotions and wounds too, right? Wounds of the body, but it can be emotional wounds because it really is. So it's like, okay, you had an experience, maybe you did get physically wounded, but what was the emotional wound that you also suffered from that physical wound, right? Or from the experience in general, whatever that intense experience was. Now, because you're having an eclipse in your first house, and this eclipse is about a new beginning, it's going to have to do with your physical body. Again, Scorpio ascendant, Scorpio risings. If you're a Scorpio sun sign, Scorpio birthday, this is really more about how you shine and radiate. It's how the world sees you, but it's more about the way you express and talk to people. So if you're a Scorpio sun, people may think that you're, an intense, powerful person. You may have those really deep looking ocean-like eyes, where there's just like they could get lost in them, but not dreamy bedroom eyes. It's more of an intensity, right, to them. And when you communicate and express, it's like powerful. It's intense. It's like you're heard. You might not be always understood, but you're absolutely heard, right? Because it's Pluto that comes through, right? It's Mars and Pluto that comes through. Very, very animated and physical, a very powerful speaker, right? Or whatever, even if you're not like a speaker or a talker in general, but when you talk, it's like you're heard and you're felt. That's Scorpio energy, what you feel, but it's deep and it's intense and it's likely from the past. And so that brings us up to, do you have deep wounds, emotional wounds about your appearance, right? Is there something there? So you're making a change, right? You're making a change. It's something new. It's something exciting because you have a change of heart as to what you value. So you have different values for yourself. So a change in that could simply be a change in what you wear. It could be a change in your hair. It could be a change in your location. Are you considering changing work? Are you considering changing a house location, like living somewhere else? Like if we get a different job, we have to move, or vice versa. If we have to move, we then like, oh, damn, I can't work there anymore, right? It's just not feasible. It doesn't make sense. Now, it's a new beginning, right? And it's Scorpio energy. So you have the ability to change and to transform your appearance, right? To die to your old ways, to die to, it's not like physical death. It's really remember, Phoenix. The Phoenix looks like it dies. It looks like it fades away. It looks like it's burning in the ashes. And then all of a sudden it just comes up and rises up out of the ashes and flies away. This is Scorpio energy. Yes. So let's pull you a card for this new beginning. I like to follow my guidance, and they're saying shuffle it one more time. So I've split your deck. You hear that? Yep. They're telling me grab the top card, the very one right up on top. I will do that. And there it is for you, Scorpio. Your ruler, Mars, is right there, right? It's Aries energy, so it's the physical body, right? Aries tends to be young energy, youthful energy. Okay, tends to be youthful. We also have the moon here, and we have what looks like to be a female. So let me turn the card for a second. Yes, we have a female, likely mom, because this is definitely a youngster. The youngster looks like they were pretending to be a soldier. They had like a horse because they're young, right? They actually can't be a soldier yet. but they were like make believe and pretending. You see that? Fighting, pretending to fight. You see that? A horse with a sword, pretending to be a soldier, right? Having a good time. But maybe mom said it's time to stop. It's time to come home. Like you see the stormy clouds in the background there. Yeah, it looks kind of dark. It's like yeah, the sun is setting, possibly. And it's just time to come home, right? Time to not play. But what's interesting is this little rebel, because Aries is fierce about its freedom. It does not want to be told what to do with in terms of its actions of its own body. So if it's playing, it wants to keep on playing. It will just go ahead and be like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do when I want to do it. Like that's how Aries energy can be. So some can be like, okay, that's a little childish, or it's just a bit immature. It can be. It can be. Arian energy normally acts a little bit better once it matures, when it grows up and it sees its egoic ways. It sees a little bit more of its egoic ways. I liken it to the fine wine. Once it's aged a bit of time, it learns, it sees itself. It gains that awareness, and then it understands how it was very impatient and combative and aggressive. Right. So, you know how children can be, right? They don't understand sometimes. You know, they're young minded, right? And usually very physical, usually very physical. So this shows me energy that doesn't really get along really well. Okay. Because Aries energy does not want to be told what to do. It doesn't really even care too much to be nurtured the way mom would want to nurture it. It doesn't really need it. It's all about independence. Aries wants independent action. So these two aren't real friendly. And I shouldn't say like, it's not that they're enemies. Obviously, a child and a mother isn't an enemy, but there are plenty of mothers or fathers out there who will tell you, oh my God, when you were a youngster, you were a terror. Like you didn't listen to a damn thing anybody told you. You always had to do it your own way. You had no patience. Like you tried to, you took, yeah. Anyway, there's lots of different examples we can think of, but there's something part of our Mars energy, Scorpio, and about our actions of our body, where with this new beginning, there's going to be some work involved. It's not necessarily going to be easy peasy. Okay. Because these two energies, this little one's walking away. It's walking away from the authority figure. It's like, hell no. It's going in the opposite direction. You see that? Because it's ferociously independent. So, it says learn to compromise. Learn to compromise is if you're getting direction or guidance from a female, or I should say feminine energy. Let's say feminine energy that will help this along. You might want to take that advice. And it doesn't mean you have to give them the credit. You can at least just be a little bit more patient and willing to listen instead of stomping away like a child. Now, I'm not calling you a child, but this energy has that vibration. It's combative, it just by nature, it was born for war, right? And here was this little one trying to pretend to be a soldier, right? On his horse with his sword and maybe it broke. I'm not really sure. Let me take another peek here. The sword is broken. So that's a tool. That's a weapon. It's broken. And maybe the little one just got pissed off and stomped off mad. You know how little kids can be, right? And even some adults, right? Let's not pretend that there aren't some of us who can stomp away when something's broken and they just have zero patience. They're just frustrated. They're upset. They get angry and they say things, and they do things. This is more about doing things. So it's about putting away the childish actions, right? When I was a child, I did childish things. Once I became an adult, I no longer did the childish things. And so there's a maturing process that's happening here. Okay. But again, this is showing that it's not going to be all easy peasy. It's showing there is going to be some work involved, that you're really going to have to practice patience with this new beginning. And it's again, it's about your physical body and possibly your appearance. Okay. So now let's do your next card. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about the Mars energy before I pull the card for that. So Mars is actions of my body. Okay. So let's find out where you're taking actions with your body. Isn't it interesting how body is coming up in multiple ways? Now, because it's in the sign of Gemini for the next 7 months for you, you're thinking, but this is stuff you already thought about, right? It's options, it's conversations, it's you collected information, but you're gathering information right now. Okay. So you've gathered information, but you're continuing to gather and you're probably going to make a choice here. So whenever we've got Gemini energy or Mercury energy that I'm talking about, we got to think about choices and options, right? Shared values, conversations about hurts, conversations about the past, conversations about wounds. This is you talking about that, but not just talking about it. Like there's a bit of action involved. So it's like you're speaking. Are you doing some public speaking about wounds from the past? Things that you've learned, right? Because Scorpio's been to the battle. It's been to the war. It's been to the front lines. It's gone through the trials, the tribulations. It's gone through the journey, but it's gone through the war and the battle. Yes, because it's a warrior. So it has battle scars. It's got wounds and it's able to share those. And so his experiences and talking about those deep emotional wounds, talking about stuff from the past, gives others the ability to hear and to heal. So doing that thing for yourself, though, by doing something for somebody else, you're healing yourself. You're healing yourself through conversations, through communications. This is sibling energy. This is coworker energy. This is teacher energy. So this is public speaking. This is learning. Okay, so you're learning things about yourself by talking about this stuff, possibly finding new ways of communicating. New ways of communicating about the past, new ways of communicating about your emotions. It's digital. So whether it's through emails or whether it's communications online, it's your local community. So it can be, if you belong to some sort of a local organization, peers, getting together with people who are either the same age as you or who are learning the same you're learning or talking or teaching about. So keep that in mind because that will be a big factor in who you're communicating with and what you guys are all talking about. But remember, this is deep wounds from the past, shared emotions, and a wonderful new beginning for healing because that's what this eclipse brings. It's the Scorpio energy. So it's by the talking and the processing you're releasing. And through that releasing, you're going to be meeting new people, new neighbors, new people that feel like siblings, deep soul connections with people that you've never met. But yet when you meet them, you'll have that bond with them because of the shared past. Doesn't have to be the exact experiences, but similarities in your experiences, the similar wounds, right? And so a beautiful, a grand new beginning for healing for you. So let's get your card and see if we can get a visual for you that kind of just gives maybe a little bit more details for you. Give you another shuffle. And then I'm hearing to give it just one of these shuffles. To do this one more time. And they're telling me to take this card on top. So that's what we're going to do. Make sure we got one card there. Okay, here it is. Ooh, look at that. That's a stunner. Can you see that? That's amazing. Oh my God, Scorpio. This is so interesting. Jupiter is beneficial. So it's showering you with light. Talk about a grand new beginning with the healing. And look at, this is Leo, self-expression. You're going to be in the spotlight, right? Talking, right? You've got this, it's a spiritual group. Religion is connected to this. This is also possibly, it's been a long journey. That's what this represents as well. But there's a lot of wisdom you can share from your long journey, right? That's connected to that Scorpio energy of your battle and your wars. But remember, we're talking about your Mars energy. This is the Mars in that 8th house. So it's talking about deep stuff. Yeah, you're going to be in the spotlight. There's light showered upon you, but this is like beneficial light. See the stars? Let me take a look real quick. Yeah. Stars being poured upon you. Look at that. How wonderful. It's like neutrinos from the light itself, from the earth, it's from the sun itself, I should say. And then remember, Jupiter is wisdom. So you're talking and communicating, Leo energy, about your unique experiences and you're shining brightly. The sun, neutrinos. The sun is on here. Yeah, this is so wonderful. So you have major support with this card to do this process, to do this thing, to talk about wounds from the past, to talk about your experiences, and you will be connecting. You will find like a soul tribe. You will be connecting with a soul tribe because of what you've been through and your ability to talk and communicate about this. So, yes, Scorpio, I am so super psyched and excited for you with this card. This is such a beautiful new beginning. These energies all trine each other. Grand fire trine. Yes, Scorpio, you're on fire when it comes time to talk about that kind of stuff. And you can do it. You've got the energy of the universe to support you. Jupiter, remember, spirituality and religion, philosophy on life, higher learning, like extended education, even. Yeah, justice, freedom, and truth. This is it. You have your support, Scorpio. Happy October. So below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.